Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you exactly how to convert GitHub source code to an exe file. Alright, so if you want to convert GitHub source code to an exe file, watch this video step by step, because that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you in this video. So make sure you watch this video till the end. It's very important, right? Before you take action, watch this video till the end. So the first thing we want to do is to come over to GitHub. Alright, so for that I'm just going to go over. If you don't know how to go over to GitHub, just open a new tab on your browser and then just type in GitHub. It is super simple. Once you type in GitHub, it will actually open the website right here, right? And then you just click on the first one, which is the official website. And so basically that's actually how to go over to GitHub, right? This is the first main step. All right, so you just come over and sign in if you have an account. If you don't have an account, you just sign up, right? It's actually a very easy and simple process. You honestly cannot miss it. So let me just sign in and then I'll see you inside of my account so we can begin officially. Alright guys, so we are inside of my account, as you can see, right? So I actually have a document that I actually wrote down all the steps to successfully, convert GitHub source code to an exe. So we're going to follow everything. We have just 5 steps. We're going to follow everything and then arrive at our destination. All right, so step by step, the first thing we are going to do to be able to convert GitHub source code to exe, right, is that we actually have to download the project from GitHub, right? The project we want to actually convert, we have to actually download it. So I'm assuming you already have yours. If you don't, right, I'm just going to, let's say, I'm just going to get any random file, file, I guess. So I'm just going to get any random file inside of GitHub. So we're going to see alright guys, so as you can see, there are lots and lots of documents, right? There are lots of projects here we can actually get for ourselves, right? So just select the one that I assume you already have yours, right? So for this example, I'm just going to pick, let's say, this one. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm just going to pick this one right here, and then I'm just going to try and extract it. All right, so yeah, super simple. So I just comment code and then get in the zip form, file saver JS, I think that's the name. So I just go over to my file manager and then go over to this right here. I'll go over to download. So this is actually, I believe this is actually the file saver we just downloaded. So I just come here and actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to let me copy the name. Yeah, so I'm just going to open a new documents folder. Inside of the folder, I'll name it this. Alright, so I think I have a folder that is exactly like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and download another one, something else. Alright, so let's see how it's going to look like. So I just get something like this, file downloader. Right, so this is what I'm going to use. Alright, so actually come back here to code, which is the pattern, which is the exact way we are supposed to do it. And then I just come here to download zip. Just download it right here. It's super simple. Alright guys, so I ended up going for this, right, file browser. This is the one I actually just came and then downloaded the zip. Alright, so I'm just going to go over to my file explorer and then I'm going to, let me refresh this right here. I'm just going to come over here. Alright, so this is it, file browser. So I'll just come back here and then I'll just get the name. I just want the name, so I'll just copy this name. So I'll use it and just rename this one right here. Alright, it is super simple. Then I'll just transfer this one inside of this one. Right, the reason is because we don't want it to be scattered inside of our download. So I'll just come here and then I'll just come here and extract it right here. Extract here, super simple. It's actually going to extract it right here. All right, so this is what we're going to be working with basically. Okay, so this is actually what we're going to be working with. All right, so I think we've done this. We've gone the first step. So if you go back, right, we've actually extracted all of them, right? Pick the folder, blah blah blah. So the next thing, we're going to open that folder inside of Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open that folder inside of Visual Studio Code, right? So I'm going to open that folder inside of Visual Studio Code. Open the folder. All right. So if I go over to my download, all right. So basically, this is actually the folder. All right. So as you can see, so it's actually going to come up right here. As you can see. All right, guys. So we actually have it open right here. This is actually the folder. Let me exit this. So this is actually the folder right here. So the next thing we want to do right here is before we actually come here and open, anything, right, we want to go back and then check for the next step, which is step 2, right? So what we are going to do right now is to set up the tool to turn HTML or whatever format into exe. Okay, as long as it's just GitHub source code. All right, so what's going to happen right now is that we actually need to go and download this Node.js, right? You actually need to download Node.js. Now, I already have Node.js in my device. If you have it, you just click on it and it will come up. If you don't, just go to nodejs.org. Let me walk you through. Let me walk you through the Node.js. Simple, super simple. So basically, this is how it look like. All right, so it's actually not a very complicated process, right? You just come here, select the version that you want. I recommend this one right here. So you just come here and then you actually just download. Let me show you exactly how to do it. So if you come back here, all right, so basically this is actually how to download. So you just come here and click on this. All right, come here and click on this right here. You actually download it right here. So just make sure that everything is what you want. Right, if you're using a Mac, you can select Mac OS. If you're using a Linux, right, so basically that's how it functions. Just set it up and then you come here and then click on download. It is super simple, right? So once you've done that, you actually just follow this installation process. It's actually a very simple process, right? It's a very simple process. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. Just tick and just follow the process. It's very simple, right? So once you have it installed, you're going to come back right here. Let's know the next step. So we click on the LTS version, which is the one we have here, right? Which is this, the LTS version. This is the one you're going to get. All right, so now we can actually run the installer. All right, and all of that. So basically you just install it right here. You install the Node.js, and right, it is very simple. It's actually an easy process. Right, so the next thing, we're going to move over to step 3, right, which is to create the exe file. Right, so I'm assuming that it's actually an HTML file, but then it's not. If it's not, you can still follow the process. So what you're going to do is that if your project is an HTML file like index.html, inside the folder, do this, right, in the VS Code terminal. So we have to come over to VS Code right here. We have to run something called terminals, right? So we click on these 3 dots, come to terminals, come to new terminals right here. It is super simple. It's actually going to come up right there, and then we're going to put in some codes, right? So it's very important to pay close attention. So the first thing we want to do right here is that we actually are going to put in a particular code right here, which is the code that links us to this Node.js, right? This Node.js that we actually just downloaded, right? This is Node.js right here. So we actually need to go over to this file, right? This path, this Node.js. So mine is actually here. Let me show you where mine is. If I come over to my local disk right here, if I come over to program, if I come down here, you will notice that mine is actually right here. As you can see, this is mine. It says Node.js, right? So if you want to actually get the actual location of this Node.js right here, what you're going to do is that we just come back here. I'll just click on it. You can click on it if you want. If you don't want to, I'll just click on it and maybe come to this node, which is the main folder, and then just right click on this. Notice I'm inside of the Node.js folder, very important. And then I just click on properties, and then once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is you just come and you copy this right here. Let me look at something right here. I click on this, I click on the node exe, click on properties, right, and then you come over to the location, the file location, and then I'll just copy this right here. It is super simple, right? So once I copy it, I just come over to its place. Let me exit this. So I copy it right here. I'll come here. Before I paste it, I'll put in something called cd space and then paste in the file path. It's very important you put in cd, because this is a command that lets your Visual Studio Code, right, to be able to access the folder, right? If you don't add that cd, it will not be able to access the folder. It's very important before you paste in the location. Also, if you don't want to use Visual Studio Code, you can also use other compilers, right? It's still going to work the same way, right? You still follow the process and you're still going to achieve what you want, right? So what you're going to do next is you come here. By the way, guys, there's something you need to know. Every time your path, your path has a space in between. Normally it's not supposed to have space, but if it has a space, then you should put in quotations like this. So you should take in some quotations, something like this that looks like this, right? You put in some quotation, copy quotation, and then you should add quotations, right? Every time your path has actually, let me exit this. Anytime your path actually has all right, so each time your path actually has a space in between, what you need to do is that you should actually put in quotes, right? Otherwise it's not going to work. So I just come here and then paste it right here, right? I forgot to add the, okay, if I put it like this, it's actually still not going to work. The whole point is that we want to go inside of our cd, and we want to go inside of our Node.js, right? This Node.js that we downloaded, we want to access the files inside, right? We want to access the files inside using our VS code, using our Visual Studio Code, our Visual Studio Code. That's what we're trying to do. I'll come here and then come back here. I didn't copy the whole thing. This is what you should copy, the whole thing. Come back here. So notice that the cd is actually in yellow while the rest is actually in blue, right? Boom. As you can see right now, VS Studio terminals, right? VS Studio terminals is actually inside of our Node.js file, right? It's actually inside of this file right here, this Node.js. So it's inside. So now that it's inside, we go to the next step, right, which is to now type in this, right? To type in node space -v, right, -v, right? It's actually dash, right? The word is actually dash right there. I just copy it, and then there's node dash v, node space then dash v, right? It's just a way of knowing if our node is actually installed, right? This Node.js that we actually installed, we want to know if it's actually installed. We want to confirm, right? That's why we have the dash v, right? We want to know what version is inside. If it gives us a version, it then means that it's installed. If it doesn't, then it is not installed inside of. Alright guys, so as you can see, it's actually giving us the results. It said v 22.20.0, which is the version that is actually installed, right? This is the version, that's what it's telling us. And if you notice, if you come here right here, you're going to notice that this is actually similar to this version, which is the one we installed. We just wanted to confirm if our Node.js is actually installed, right? Very important. Before we proceed, we want to know if certain things have been installed. So if you went through the installation process correctly, you should not have any issues right here. Right, so the next thing we want to know if our npm is also installed, because it's also a software that comes with the Node.js. When you're installing, they're also supposed to install the npm for you. If they don't, that means you actually have to install it. So we want to confirm, so we do the same thing here, right? npm space dash v, right? So we want to know if it gives us a version, we know it's actually installed. Okay, so it says here that this program cannot be loaded. It says npm.ps1 cannot be loaded because running script is disabled on the system, right? If you have any something like this, have no fear. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do, right? So if note that if after typing this, which is what we just did, and you see this error, npm.ps1 cannot be loaded because running script is disabled, you're not going to be afraid. The reason is just that the PowerShell is blocking Node's script from running because of Windows security policies. All right, so it's nothing to be afraid of, right? So what you're going to do is that in the same terminal, you type in this code, right? It's a way of actually fixing it temporarily, right? So I'll just copy this right here. If you can't see, it just says set hyphen set dash exe or execution policy, right? Set dash execution policy space dash scope process space dash execution policy space bypass, right? So that's what it says. Come here, and then I'll just come here and paste it inside. It's very, very important you actually paste it right here. So I've just pasted it inside of this place right here, right? So, and then I'll just click on enter. All right, so now that we've done this, we will now be able to do the exact thing we did before, right? Which is to try and paste in this npm space dash v again. All right, so once you do it, I believe that should be the next step, right? So if they ask you, do you want to change the extension policy, right? You type yes. They did not ask us, right? But then it actually works. So I'll just come here and copy this right here. Go back, come here and copy this right here, right? npm space dash v. All right, come over to my source code. Oh. All right, so if they now show us version numbers, so we continue below, it means it worked. So if they show us version numbers right here, which they will in about 2 seconds. All right, guys, so as you can see, it actually came up, right? And it has given us the version, right? It says 10.9.3, which is the version of the npm we have, right? So it actually works. If you experience this kind of issues when you type in the npm space dash v and you see something like this red, you just simply put in this set dash execution policy and all of that. So I have the exactly what you need to type in right here, right? So you just look at it and then type it. It's actually very, very simple. Observe the spaces in between, right? Observe space, and observe space, right? But then you'll be fine if you just put in there's dash here and there's dash here, right? So it's actually very simple. Also dash here. Right, so basically that's what it is. So we'll move on to the next step, right? So now that we've done all this, right, we actually will now come here, and then we now, once the npm works, right, once we've seen the version, we'll now have to install the native here. We have to install the natifier, right? We have to install the natifier, right? Very, very important. Install the natifier. So for that, we come here to and say npm install space dash g space natifier. All right, so I'll copy it right here. It is super simple. So I just paste it right here and then put in enter. All right, so here, this is where the magic actually begins, because if I minimize this right here, and then what's going to happen is that you wait for it to finish, right? It will take a minute or two, right? Then you test the version, right? We are trying to install the natifier. That's what we are trying to do. We're actually trying to install the natifier, right? So the natifier is actually very, very important if we are going to convert. It's what is used to convert GitHub source code, right, to exe, right? It turns it into an exe app, So that's why we're installing it. Very, very important, right? So if I come back here, it's actually loading right here and it will take some time. Right, but then basically that's actually how it works. So then we'll move over to the first step once it actually installs. Super simple. Alright guys, so as you can see, it actually came up right here. We actually clicked on the install. Right, we actually successfully installed it, and it says they changed 226 packages in 1 minute and all of that. And it also said a lot of things, blah blah. This basically shows that it actually installed. Alright, but then the next thing we're going to do right here is to confirm. So we're going to look at what version you actually installed. If it gives us a version, it then means that we actually succeeded, which means it actually installed. So I'm just going to click on it. So if it's notifier space dash version, right, that's what I'm putting in. Super simple. So it's actually going to show me the version that actually got installed, if it actually got installed. Alright guys, so as you can see, it actually says here 52.0.0, which means that 52.0.0. Alright, so which means that this is the version that was actually installed, right? So we actually succeeded. Alright, so what we are going to do is to move over to step 4, which is the second to last step. As you convert your GitHub source code folder to exe. Right, so for that, what you're going to do is that you're going to be able to convert it. So we just put in CD like I told you initially. Make sure that CD is always there, but then we want to put in the paths to where we want the conversion to happen. So remember, this is our file. Let me go back. Remember, this is our download we got from GitHub repository, where we actually got from there. Right, so this is it, I believe. So this is it. So this is the file location. This is where we want the file to actually be. Right, so basically this is actually it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it this as the location. Let me come here and then I'm going to copy this location right here, as you can see. So I'll just copy this location right here. Okay, I'll just copy it right there. Right, so I'll just try and combine it with this other one. So I'll just so basically this is how it should look like. cd space, then I'll paste in the location. Right, so basically this is where it is going to put in this new converted exe. All right, the folder and everything. This is the location where it's going to put it. And so we want to give it access to put in the location, right, to put in the folder that it's going to convert for us. So I'm just going to paste it. I'm just going to paste it right here. Let me paste it right here. Right, so I just click on enter. It is super simple. All right, so alright guys, so as you can see, it has actually changed. Right, it's showing here that it has actually accessed our folder, which is what we want. It has actually accessed this folder right here, right, this folder right here. So what you're going to do right now, it is very simple. Right, you can now type in this. You have to type in this notifier space dot, right, notifier space dot. It's very important you type it in. Right, so the dot, that dot actually means convert the current folder into an app. All right, notifier will create a new folder, right, like something like this, whatever, something like this. It should look something similar to this, right, inside your directory. Now inside that folder you'll find your file, right, your exe, right, the converted one. Let me show you what I mean. So come back here, and then we just come back here, and then I'll just paste in the notifier space dot. Alright guys, so as you can see, it has actually converted our source code to an exe file. Alright, so it has actually converted it to an exe file. So if I come down here, you see it says hi, notifier is blah blah blah, all of this, right? So basically this is actually what it just did for us right here. So as you can see, it has actually converted the file into an exe folder. All right, so basically that's actually how it works. So what we're going to do right now, we're just going to go over to our folder and confirm. As you can see, boom. And so if I go back to the main folder I was looking for, and so this is the one we got from GitHub. So if I click on it right here, you'll see what we are looking for: app dash win32 blah blah blah. This is it, right? So if you come back here, you will notice that this is actually the app. It says app.exe. It has converted our file, our source code from GitHub to an exe, right? So if you don't see it here, usually if you don't see it, you just come over to view right here and then come over to where it says file name extension. All right, because if you remove file name extension, you will not see the exe. But if you come here and click on file name extension, you will see the exe right here. You know it has converted it. So basically this is actually how it works. All right, and this is how you can successfully convert a GitHub source code to an exe, right? Right, so basically that's it. Do well to like this video if you got any value, and also subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Subscribe, and with that being said, I will see you in the next video.